Yo, what up? This is D-Night, and you're listening to the Pardon the Insurrection podcast. My oh my, we've had so much going on. For starters, in case you missed it, we've got a new addition to the Par and Pie family, Tara Dublin. Make sure you go follow her on Twitter at Tara Dublin Rocks. Also, pick up a copy of her book while you're at it. Make her day, The Sound of Settling. A very fun and interesting read compared to the things we talk about on this podcast. But yeah, we're heading toward the do or die time for the 2024 election. Go ahead and hit up JoeBiden.com. Get that man like $1 a month or something. Help his campaign staff up and get prepared to try and save our democracy. And make sure to grab like one other person you know and tell them about the podcast. Make sure they subscribe and tune in every single week. We got a lot of things coming up for you this year. We need all the support that we can get. So if you do your part and help us grow our audience, we'll do our part and help elect Joe Biden in 2024 and save American democracy. And this is the Pardon the Insurrection podcast. Yeah, Ty, you still alive? Do we need to come rescue you? Do we need to send the chopper? Arnold Schwarzenegger style. Get to the chopper.
I am.
Are you sure?
I am still alive.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Like, do we need to get you some Obamacare so you can go get checked out? And, maybe have an elective surgery that you don't need. Get you some new genitals. That's the new rage these days.
Oh,
the GOP is trying to kick down.
I do want to get a butt, but
what's wrong with your current butt?
I'm trying to get a butt. I'm trying to get a.
Well, are you missing some butt? Like, do you have like one cheek? Or?
I'm trying to get a booty. I am.
As our resident black girl, I feel like you should already be thoroughly equipped with a fantastic. No.
I wish I was. I wish I had a butt.
I don't want to make any inappropriate comments on the physical appearance of either of my two fellow co-hosts on the show, so I'll just refrain. But I'm sure your butt's fantastic. Your standards is too high. Love yourself, girl. Love you for you. If your booty ain't enough for him, find another man who appreciates your booty the way it is.
Love my booty. Love it. no matter how flat it is, even if it's like pancake butt, like love that pancake. Slap some butter and syrup on that bitch and go to town.
Okay, his words. I was just gonna ask, Ty, does it give you a comfortable place to sit down?
Yes and no.
I know.
It's kind of it's kind of weird sitting here on my butt, but it's okay.
And this concludes the Ty's butt segment of the evening.
Oh, if only
the conclusion of Ty's butt. What in the butt? Yes.
If only we could go to commercial break. Yeah. Well. Okay. On to more butt. As it turns out, there are secret underground tunnels connecting different buildings at Mar-a-Lago, which were revealed in a new book called Tragic Fall about Rudy Giuliani. I feel like that's aptly named, Tragic Fall. Rudy Giuliani, formerly America's mayor, now what is he, like he's an ad for AA meetings, I guess. I don't know. Depressed after his 2008 presidential flop, in which he not only lost the Republican primary, he was definitely going to lose to the black dude. Rudy Giuliani and his third wife, Judy. Ugh. Man, what is up with these fucking names? Rudy and Judy Giuliani. Good job there. Famously,
was Judy her maiden name? Was Giuliani her maiden name as well, or is it her cousin?
She's Judith. Judith. Yeah.
Yeah, but is this one his cousin?
No.
No, this was his third ex-wife.
Not Giuliani, nay Giuliani. Okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Anyway, so Rudy and Judith secretly moved into a bungalow across from Mar-a-Lago.
Things really went down for Rudy when he divorced his cousin. Sorry, go on.
Hey, look, it's fairly asinine that a high point in Giuliani's life was fucking his cousin. That's some pretty impressive rock bottom you hit there. If like the high point is smashing a family member. So Rudy and Judith moved into a bungalow across from Mar-a-Lago. Of course, the former defeated president Donald Trump's club in Palm Beach, where Giuliani recovered from his political humiliation and started to drink heavily, according to this book by Andrew Kurtzman. The bungalow was secretly connected to Mar-a-Lago by a tunnel that ran underneath South Ocean Boulevard. It is one of the many little known passages and rooms beneath the expansive resort. The secret route allowed the couple to come and go from Trump's home without the media being aware. I don't know for sure that this is necessarily major news, but it is relevant considering the circumstances here, with Trump storing stolen classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. On the one hand, I guess it's fairly innocuous for resorts of these sorts, having underground tunnels near the beach, so you don't have to worry about the traffic situation and whatnot when you're going back and forth to the ocean and whatnot. But also, these secret tunnels could double as a mode of transportation for said classified documents if one were to try and sneak them out unawares to potential foreign adversaries or agents wishing to purchase them for vast sums of money to someone who might be facing a serious amount of debt coming due here soon in the future. Can't imagine who that might be or who I might be describing, but it seems like a possibility. Secret underground tunnels at Mar-a-Lago. Yo, what the fuck?
What the fuck? And I have some reckless speculation about that. It's tangential, but
go.
I start thinking about
Go.
I was just thinking about having secret underground tunnels that lead out of Mar-a-Lago. A place where the former president regularly hosted a convicted sex trafficker who brought girls there.
Which one?
I was just thinking of Epstein, but now that I'm thinking about these secret underground tunnels that lead from like a little bungalow across the street into presumably the main chambers, and just reckless speculating.
I mean, if someone perhaps may have wanted to sneak underage girls into and out of Mar-a-Lago unseen, I can't imagine a worse idea, or rather a better idea than using underground tunnels to make, sometimes shit just be aligning like the stars in the universe. It all comes together and you're like, oh, now I see how all of this works. This is one of those circumstances where you're like, oh, it makes total sense now. Everything's come together nicely. Yeah. The same tunnels that you use to sneak kids in and out of 20 years ago. Now you're sneaking stolen, highly classified government secrets in and out of. We come full circle. Good times. Great times. And much like ShamWow, when it comes to the news, but wait, there's more. Because we are allegedly a podcast about the insurrection, if you've been listening to every episode so far, you'd be like, are you really? Couldn't tell. 5 Florida men affiliated with a militia group called B Squad, allegedly run by a former candidate for Congress, have been arrested on charges that they joined the mob's attack on the U.S. Capitol. B Squad being a reference to Plan B, should Trump lose the 2020 election and not find a way to be reinstated as the president. Also known to have some association with the 3 Percenters, which is also another far right wing group associated with the 1/6 attack on Congress. And what is going on? How many militia, the initial argument in defense of the people who attacked the Capitol was, it's just a rally and the protest and it got out of control. How many militia groups do we have involved in this attack so far? It seems like it was well thought out and planned, organized ahead of time. I could be wrong, but when you have the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys and the 3 Percenters, and you got Plan B. I'm sure they're not just in case you get pregnant, or the militia to help solve that problem. Not that kind of Plan B. B Squad. It seems like very well organized and planned in advance. What say you, Carol?
I mean, for sure. Of course, I think it was planned in advance, not just because of their name and how it indicates, not that this could be used in a legal argument, but their name indicates the intent. They had a fucking backup plan. That is what the Plan B means. Anyway, shit, there's 2 cats on me now and I got distracted.
We like cats. We're cat friendly on this podcast.
You might knock over my microphone.
As a man, I can state quite accurately that pussy often gets in the way of the more important things I'm trying to accomplish in my life. But anyway, continue. I still love you, cats. You're good with me.
They can't hear you. I'm wearing headphones, and they're cats. No, we're hearing all this gaslighting about their lack of intent, but we were also there on social media while they were telling their plan to the world publicly. I mean, we get all these intelligence reports now about hate groups and white nationalist terror groups and the plans that they had before 9/11. Like, well, no shit. They were just writing their plans on Twitter. We all saw it.
Yeah, we watched it in real time.
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah,
it's there.
No, unlike the B Squad, we were not actually present at the Capitol on 1/6. But in the days leading up, there were all these reports of Trump supporters planning a protest on 1/6. Famously, it will be wild. Donald Trump, thanks for warning us in advance to not be there. The word went out. Hey, no counter protest. Don't go to the Capitol. They're probably planning some crazy shit. I mean, of course, at the time, it's not that I didn't think that they wouldn't try anything. It's that I assumed that they were so stupid and that the FBI would just obviously be more prepared, that it would fail miserably. I was wrong. They got so close. Of course, they also were thwarted by their own stupidity, but that's a story for another day. We all knew it was coming. We were like, hey, this is a terrible idea, but you want to try it. Go ahead. Good luck. You can end up in jail, which is what's happening. Finally, we took a long, circuitous route getting here, but they're finally locking motherfuckers up, and rightfully so. It's about time. And what are the implications of a former member of or potential candidate for Congress plotting an attack on Congress. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, we're seeing that play out a lot. And I think it was only Marjorie Taylor Greene who had her case actually go forward, with the election commission in Georgia. And, that the Republican legislator run commissions, I'm not sure how an election commission works exactly, but, you'd have to have those people ruling that they did commit insurrection or whatever before they'll actually be precluded from running. But what it means in practical terms for the GOP is they'll be like, this guy's a patriot, and then they'll put they'll make a terrible video of him and jumping out of a Top Gun. Sorry, I was just thinking of the DeSantis video where he shoved himself into the Top Gun uniform.
Yeah, it was not great. Part of the appeal of Tom Cruise and Top Gun is that it was Tom fucking Cruise, which kind of goes without saying. You put Ron DeSantis in a Top Gun uniform, I don't care how fucking amazing the Top Gun uniform is, it's still Ron DeSantis. It's like what is it, the lipstick on a pig thing? I mean, that feels like a dated reference. You can paint a pile of shit whatever color you want to, but at the end of the day, it's just a pile of shit covered in paint. Same thing with Ron DeSantis and the Top Gun. Anyway,
the lawyer in me wants to argue about how difficult it would be to cover paint and get an effective paint, color cover. But let's just move on.
Yeah, do you have to paint the shit with primer first before you apply?
I think it would need to be dry, and then you'd need an oil base. No.
And then do you put it in a brown paper bag and set it on fire on someone's porch and ring the doorbell and run away? I mean,
yeah, but then I feel like we could have not painted it. Okay, don't work harder, work smarter.
That's totally fair. Wasted effort on the part of painting a pile of shit. And that brings us back to Ron DeSantis. Why would you even? Man, that was some dorky ass shit. Anyway, I don't know. Sorry, we went off on a tangent. I have no idea where we were at.
Okay, the 3 Plan B.
Plan B. Plan B should have been run again in 2024. I guess that wasn't good enough for them. So, yeah. And now they'll be going to prison for a long ass time. Congratulations, motherfuckers. You deserve it. You deserve it. We'll see you in 2044 when you get out.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer militia.
Ty, are you still there obsessing over your lack of booty? Not the lack of presence of other booty in your life, but your own personal booty. How much of butt injections?
I think she went in search of a sandwich. That's my guess. A good man.
I think she's Googling butt enhancement surgery.
Who among us has not Googled that? No.
I don't know about you, but I'm satisfied with my butt.
Yeah, I haven't searched that exact phrase, but
I have a very, very pinchable butt. It's not massive or anything, but it gets the job done. I have no idea. Look, let's get back on track here. No more butt talk for the rest of the podcast. Okay. I promise. I'm probably lying, but I will do my best. Also, earlier today, the DOJ unveiled a a guilty plea in a case you may or may not have heard about, where Ashley Biden, daughter of the current president, had her diary stolen prior to the 2020 election. And it ended up in the possession of a group called Project Veritas. You may or may not be familiar with their work. They are, Carol, what's an accurate description of Project Veritas?
In my mind, it's an offshoot of the Federalist Society, but I don't think it's actually related. But it's a similar group of right-wing hacks who specialize in propaganda,
fuckery.
I guess.
They specialize in fuckery.
Well, they unironically use the Latin word for truth in their name, and they just produce videos of very loosely truthful statements, edited in misleading ways, and they're just muckrakers and professional liars and shitheads. I don't know what they thought that they were, what good they were doing society by publishing the pages of someone's private journal. But forget their intentions. What's going to happen here? These people have pled guilty to. They were charged with a conspiracy to transport stolen property across state lines. So, Project Veritas will, if that's really who they're talking about, the memo from the Justice Department is so tactfully vague, but there's little room for interpretation. But this would implicate Project Veritas in the conspiracy. So that's great. Yeah,
it's great if they like prison. It's fantastic news for Project Veritas if they like jail. It's happy times.
I didn't say it was good news for them.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes. Anyway, it's fucked up. It wasn't just the journal. They had like a bank loan application or something like that. Like stuff that in
that diary, technology, tax records, some kind of digital device, family photos, cell phone, multiple items that they indeed apparently sold to. The Department of Justice has redacted the name of the individual, but we can only assume that they were associated with Project Veritas for a sum of $40,000. And whoever that individual was asked them to go back and steal more, which was a terrible idea because now you're implicated in a criminal conspiracy to possibly damage the current president's 2020 presidential campaign. Good job, fellows. Whoever that may be, you should be worried. Because if the FBI has obtained this person's cooperation and they can finger you, and I don't mean that in any sort of way that's related to booty. If they could finger you in court, as in identify you, you are fucked, sir. Yeah, you fucked.
Yeah, I mean, even if they didn't steal it and transport it across state lines, this is like highly, not the journal, that's just like immoral and mean to steal someone's journal, but like the applications and stuff, that's all sorts of personally identifiable information. It's usually regulated by privacy laws, but I get maybe not when it's stolen. I've only looked into when it's, legitimately given. So let's move on from my lack of specific knowledge on that. Anyway, it's fucked up. I hope they all pay a hefty punitive. I don't even care if it's punitive damages or just go to fucking jail. I want them to pay. Man, it just sucks. That sucks. Like, again, to me, the biggest issue is they took like the private like recovery journal of someone it's obviously like a therapy journal of like someone trying to work out their inner demons. Anyway.
Yeah,
it's very sad.
I mean, it's just like the lengths these people are willing to go to try and rig an election. Every fucking crime they seem to commit is either about trying to rig the election, either one of them, 2016 or 2020, or cover it up, or try and find a way to make it. It's just insane. I don't understand. It's just so bad.
It's like, wait, is there anything else we can bring up about either of Biden's kids? Perhaps or a third grade report card from the deceased one,
where she only got 2 stars instead of 4. Like, I don't know, man. It's just these people will clearly do it from hell.
Yeah. It's so bad that we still haven't showed you what's on it.
I mean, we've seen some pictures. Some possibly.
Yes, we've all agreed they're jealous of Hunter Biden's enormous penis.
Yeah, he definitely went to Matthew Whitaker and got himself a toilet. Speaking of, do they make toilets for people with big asses? Ty, you don't have to worry about that. You don't need one of those, but it's just curious. Out of curiosity.
That's going to be the oblong one. But yeah, maybe those notorious emails where he's talking about the big guy, everyone assumes is his dad, but he's obviously talking about his monster cock. So as you can see, there was no criminal intent. Anyway.
Oh man.
I'm going to write me one of those Bill Barr memos.
Okay, congratulations, Carol. I never thought it would be possible, but now I cannot in any way get Hunter Biden's monster cock out of my mind. Not the visual, just anyway. Yeah. Whew. For those of you out there also who are now fixated on Hunter Biden's monster cock, I'm sorry. Blame Carol. Yeah. Oh, other news. Maybe this will be and finally. The judge who oversaw the search warrant of Mar-a-Lago has ruled that a redacted version of the search affidavit be released by Friday. Considering we're recording this on Thursday, August the 25th, that could literally be tomorrow or any moment between now and then. So who knows? It's entirely possible before we even get a chance to finish recording this that we might have some breaking news. I'm not sure. I'm actually surprised that the judge made this decision for a number of reasons, most of which are like, I feel like it is the judges. It's probably in the judges. The judge should be obligated. Look, I'm not a Trump fan. That is like impossible to deny at this point. But I do feel like Trump shouldn't have his rights violated in such a, hey, welcome Black. And goodbye. Look, the release of the affidavit is bad for Trump. There's no exculpatory information in that affidavit. Like nothing in there is good for Trump in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And generally by rule, like most courts will not allow the public release of an underlying affidavit of a search warrant because until the person is indicted and has a chance to represent themselves in court, they won't have a chance to refute any of the allegations in said affidavit. And I feel like Trump should get a fair chance at representing himself in court should indictments come. And if not, as much as I want to see what's in the affidavit, I feel like it's unfair to Trump should this information be made public it'd be very damning. And then indictments don't come, and then he doesn't have any opportunity to address the issue in court. And there's a perfect parallel for this. Ironically enough, it's Hillary Clinton. Right, we have James Comey opening an investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of a private server to transmit what eventually retroactively was deemed classified, and then reopening said investigation days before the election in 2016. He wasn't the only cause as it pertains to her losing the election, but he was definitely the straw that broke the camel's back, right? We don't know what the potential outcome of the release of this affidavit will be, but it is going to be damning. I mean, it's just, I want to read what's in it, but like, I wouldn't want someone else in a similar situation to have to deal with these current set of legal circumstances that'll be brought on by the release of this affidavit. I don't know how you feel about this, Carol. You feel free to chime in.
I mean, it sounds like you almost feel bad for Donald Trump.
I don't feel bad for Donald Trump. That's not what I'm getting at.
I know you don't, but
the greater implications of what this could mean in the future for other people's rights is my main concern. But in the short term, hey, look, I was dump whatever damning information about Trump out there that you want. Like, fuck his ass. So
you're worried about establishing a precedent where these affidavits can just be unsealed? I mean, the defendant stood screaming and demanded it, and it was sort of similar situation to when they unsealed the search warrant. And Garland said something about how the situation and the public interest in an understanding the case outweighed the usual considerations or whatever. I'm not super worried about that. Like, unless you are in court and you're like, I demand everyone see all the damning evidence. And be like, okay. Like, I'm not too worried about this setting up a precedent for other people. Unless you're doing one of those, like, if the president can have his stolen confidential documents, taken back, anyone could have their stolen classified documents taken back.
Okay, Carol, you won me over. Fuck them.
Huzzah!
You
are exasperated, so I win.
Okay, the implications of this affecting other people in the future, slim. No, I won't say none. Slim. Okay, fine. Go for it. I guess it's all bad. There's nothing good in there. There can't be anything good in there. And anything that could be potentially helpful to Trump, the DOJ will redact anyway. And it'll be impossible for anyone to guess what the information. Like, I trust him to do a thorough job of redacting any potentially informative.
Well, yeah, and apparently the judge granted all of the Department of Justice's proposed redaction. So again, you're right, it is going to be what they want people to see.
Right. I mean, I guess there's the odd chance that maybe the Department of Justice is lazy in this one instance and didn't do a very thorough job of redacting the information. But I mean, it's impossible to assume that that's the case. We'll just have to see when we get our hands on the affidavit itself. Yeah,
it'll be like, he was in love with his Ivanka.
I don't think that's the kind of information. And
Tiffany's going to be like, oh.
Look, I imagine if we did have the unredacted affidavit, we would be informed as to who the possible moles in the Trump circle are. It could be family members. Fuck if I know. Like, anything's possible. I can't rule anything out. You've seen the news these last few months. I've seen the news these last few months. We're in the upside down where literally anything is fucking pot. Aliens could be cooperating with the government in trying to flip against. I don't know. So anything's possible. I can't rule anything out. Hey, for those of you unaware, Carol has turned on her Zoom camera. She's wearing a delightful flowery dress from what I can tell. And she is cuddling her little kitty and rubbing it and fingering its paws. Hi, kitty.
Not as butt.
Not as butt. We don't do very much butt fingering on the Pardon the Insurrection podcast. We may
not with kitties.
Not with kitties. But we may in the future. You stay tuned.
Still not with kitties.
Like, rate, and subscribe. And should we, ever reach like a million downloads, maybe we will do a special butt fingering episode. I don't know. Anything, can't rule it out. Anything's possible at this point.
When we get that sponsorship for Fenderman's finger glove.
I don't think they listen to this podcast.
Or are a real company. But if they were a real company, I assume they just listen to our podcast.
The odds are better that it's a real company than they listen to this podcast.
I miss Ty.
She doesn't love us the way she used to. Our
can't believe she prefers her own children.
Yeah, how dare you choose your own children over us?
Anyway, let's see. What else we got?
I think the last thing we have on the list is the Shithole of the Week award. For those of you out there unfamiliar with the term shithole, it was coined by, ironically enough, former President Donald Trump when he was referring to countries in Africa. Because, he can't help himself when it comes to saying racist shit. And we have co-opted that term, and we have decided to present a semi-weekly award to the worst possible person in politics that week. And today's nominee for the Shithole of the Week award is none other than the senator from Wisconsin himself, Ron Johnson, for saying that it was cool that he was involved with a conspiracy to overthrow the United States government because he only participated in the seditious conspiracy for a couple of seconds. Yeah. I think that's kind of self-explanatory. Like, I only seditioned for 2 seconds, so it doesn't count. What's the rule for how long you can leave your food on the floor and it's still edible?
The 2 second rule.
The 2 second rule.
Or 5 second.
Maybe 5. Yeah. I feel like 5's a lot. Also another instance of I only stuck the tip in, so it doesn't count. Okay. I only seditioned for 2 seconds, so And that concludes. I'm assuming you agree with my nomination. Yay. Pat myself on the back. I'm nailing these Shithole of the Week awards every week. I'm the Shithole of the Week award champion so far. Like your boy from Jeopardy. I currently hold the longest streak. So guess that brings us to our closing thoughts here. Ty, do you have any closing thoughts? Okay, that was fucking awesome. Carol, do you have any closing thoughts?
I mean, it's again impossible to keep up with all the news, but some good news we didn't touch on is all the primaries and special elections on Tuesday. Namely, we got New York 19. It was a plus 8 percentage points polled for the Republican nominee, Mark Molinaro, and the Democrat in the special election won by 2 points. So great for him, great for the country. It's hopefully we're going to keep up this momentum. Hopefully everyone can keep getting excited for all of the other candidates coming up in the midterms, because I think everything we've been doing so far is working. People are still pissed. They want to get out and vote. I think we just got to take advantage of that momentum, and we can, I think, we have reasons to be cautiously optimistic.
I like it when you bring us good news. I'm not used to this feeling of like, oh, something positive. This is very relieving, relaxing.
Do you have any final thoughts?
I did have some final thoughts that I was working out earlier, but I think what I will go with today is it's currently 2022. Future's not set in stone. We have the potential in a couple of months to do what seemed like the impossible just a few months ago, and not only keep our majorities in the House and Senate, Democrats that is, because if you don't know, this is a partisan fucking podcast and we vote blue in this bitch, but also expand our majority in the Senate. And given what we've seen with President Biden's legislative accomplishments here, passing some of the most historic legislation this country's seen in decades with the slimmest of possible majorities. I mean, we say it's a 50-50 Democratic Senate, but with, President, or rather Vice President Harris breaking the ties, it is really a 48-52 Senate where we got two motherfuckers and you just don't know what they're going to do. You have no idea. They are on some erratic shit, impossible to count on. And if we could just get two more Democratic senators in the Congress who are willing to bypass the filibuster that requires 60 votes and instead pass legislation with 50 votes, we have the potential to do some incredible shit over the next 2.5 years. We could do so much good. For those of you out there who were buried in thousands of dollars of student loan debt, who just recently had your debt forgiven, imagine passing legislation like that every few months for 2 years. It would be life-changing for tens, if not hundreds of millions of Americans. Yep. And that concludes this week's episode of Pardon the Insurrection podcast. Do the thing where you like, subscribe, and download and all that good stuff to make our numbers look good, because we just started out like we want to get up. We're not obviously not going to pull no Meghan Markle shit. We're the number one podcast in multiple countries all across the world. That's not going to happen. But we could be like the top 127th political podcast in the world. I'd settle for that. Yep.
And Megan, if you're listening, we'd like to invite you on our show. Thank you.
You know she ain't listening to us.
Yes, I know.